Hey you guys, and welcome back to Those Amateur Car Guys. Samir Safe here. Today we will be doing our first debate. And today's debate will be discussing manual versus semi-manual versus automatic transmission.
So I am going to take the side of semi-manual, semi-automatic, like floppy paddle gearbox and things like that.
I will be arguing to prove that manual transmission is always the best.
I will be taking the side of the automatic transmission.
Alright, so who's going to start here?
Nose goes.
Nose goes?
Nose goes.
Alright, I'll open it up here. Automatic is the easiest one to use. Obviously, you can just sit down and start driving. It's a lot more comfortable because you don't have to worry about the third pedal. Your hands are both free, so you have more control. You can get that 10-pointer.
I'm going to cut in here. For semi-automatic transmissions, they have both capabilities to do both manual with floppy paddle or the actual, I'm not sure what it's actually called, the shifter where you can like slide it over into the manual mode. So you can drive it like a manual, or you can just keep it in drive mode like a normal automatic transmission, which is why I feel like semi-automatic would be just as good as that in that kind of sense.
Well, for someone who's a more anxious driver, if you take away all of the bells and whistles and just leave them with an automatic transmission, they have nothing to worry about. They can focus entirely on the task of driving.
Okay, well, I understand that you guys are talking about like comfort and driving on the road to be as comfortable as possible, but when you're driving a manual, you really have to focus about efficiency, like gas efficiency and actually being able to pay for gas. Like gas has been expensive for the past while. Manual transmission will give you the ability to drive a car as cheap as possible.
You can keep it in the lower revs easier. I feel that.
Right.
On the other side of it, though, there's a lot of people who can't get the timing of the clutch appropriately. They end up burning out their clutch, and they actually spend more money repairing and reinstalling it than they would have if they had just gone automatic and saved themselves the trouble.
I understand that driving a manual does come with skill, but when you do have that skill, you are so much more engaged in driving. I understand with automatic you can focus on the road, but when you're driving a manual, you are focused on the road. You are actually driving the car instead of
you're fully indulged with.
Yeah.
You are the thing that is making everything in the car go. I feel that, but for the fuel efficiency side or the economic side of it, with semi-automatic, though everything that has the semi-automatic in it now are newer cars. So from the factory, they're already tuned and programmed to use less fuel and less gas and to rev match properly to get you the best fuel economy. You can put it in sport mode, you can put it in economy mode, you can put it in normal mode, and that will weigh the tides to whether you're getting the performance out of it and you're actually enjoying the drive, and you can use the floppy paddles and be fully indulged with it, or you can put it into just drive mode and put it in economy mode, and you can drive from London to Toronto and use like a half a tank of gas.
At that point, though, you get fairly dependent on the electronics side of the car, which is a lot easier to break, and it becomes a lot more difficult for you to rewire yourself, which means you are more dependent on going into the shop as opposed to being able to conduct repairs on your vehicle on your own.
Talking about the different gears and putting it into sport and electronic mode and all that kind of stuff, with a manual transmission, if something breaks down, it can just be replaced. Like the gears and the shifts and all that can be replaced. With a semi-automatic or an automatic, if something were to break down, the whole transmission or the whole car would have to be sent into the shop, spend like 2 or 3 days fixing it, and it's a lot more expensive to fix semi-automatic or automatic transmission as opposed to a manual transmission.
However, with that, because the car is doing all the work for you, you're not going to blow a transmission or a clutch as easily as you would if you didn't know how to drive a manual transmission. If you were driving a manual transmission and you're not rev matching properly, you're not doing your gears properly, you're going to wreck your clutch, you're going to wreck your gears, you're going to grind your gears if you're not doing it properly, and you may have to do more repairs and spend more money or the same amount of money as if you just left it up to the people that programmed the car in the first place to run semi-automatic, whether it's in manual mode or automatic mode, to just drive as it is until something finally quits on it.
But suppose you go out and break a wrist. and you only have one hand free. If you've got an automatic, you don't have to worry about having to commit both of your hands to the driving process, and you can take the time to recover on your own. Or say if you're injured in a different manner and you're unable to drive your vehicle, any one of your friends or family who might not have that aptitude with the manual can be able to drive their vehicle for you.
That's another good point. That also falls into semi-automatic. That isn't like the manual because it doesn't have the third clutch pedal. It's all done electronically through the rev matching of the electronics through the engine. So anybody, like you said, that's a family member that can drive you around, can hop in your car. They don't have to put it in manual mode. They can just put it in normal driving mode, put it in drive, and just take you ready to go.
So let's say we had 3 different drivers, all able to drive their specific transmission to the best of their ability. Some of your arguments were based on whether the driver of a manual transmission was not able to drive the manual transmission properly. If someone was to drive the manual transmission properly, alongside the 2 different transmissions of semi-automatic and automatic, I believe that with efficiency and with the manual with the comfort of driving an automatic or a semi-automatic, the manual transmission would trump you guys in the aspect of being able to take you in the long run.
Like outperform the other ones.
Right.
It depends on the year that you're looking at, because if we're saying early 2000s, the semi-automatic transmissions were not that good. You had a lot of lag with that. So if you went to go downshift or upshift, you'd click it, you'd wait 4 seconds for the actual shifter to shift into the next gear. Same with the automatic. You kick that down, you put the pedal to the floor, and it kicks it into passing gear. That takes time for you to do that. While the guy in the manual transmission clutches in, he slams it in the gear that he wants, drops the clutch, he's there, and he's already taking off. But if we're saying 2014 and up, the semi-automatics are so in tune now that as soon as you click on a floppy paddle gearbox or anything like that, it's instantly into the next gear. And it's a lot easier to do this than to clutch in and put it in the next gear. So it really depends on the era that you're looking at to what would be best.
I feel that.
Do you think that's good? It was a good amount of time for the debate?
Yeah, I've gone through all the points that I had. Is there anything you want to do?
I think I've said.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Don't forget to share with your friends. If you had anything that you wanted to add and you thought you missed any points, just feel free to leave a comment in the comment section and we can keep the discussion going.
Alright, that's good. Thanks for watching.